So we left Augustus Edward Howell Love, 1892, wrote the mathematical treatise on the theories of elasticity. It was suggested to him by a chap, probably a chap from down the club. He's a gentleman, Augustus Edward Howell Love. Suggested to him that it'd be fun if he wrote these treatises. And what it is, it's about proving that the Earth is the centre of the universe using physics and mathematics. And it's Euler, really. Euler's Elastica. It's taking Euler's Elastica and then bringing that to bear. So you can trace the history of the propagation of light and the strength of water, and the Earth being the centre of the universe and the ether existing. All of those things are all linked together through this journey. And Euler solves it all. He's the king there. Euler's identity, e to the I pi equals -1. Well, that -1 is a real -1. It's a real value. And it goes to cancel the zero, entropy. But it's 0 to the I squared, something exists. And that the 0 to the I squared, so the 0 of nothing, has an orthogonal twist at the centre created by the value of -1. And that creates the mirror of the 1 on the other side. And so that the Fibonaccian sequence begins in a moment of awareness in the creation of the mirror, of the portal of 0, where something is created from nothing. Nothing is something, and it's a mirror. And so the 1, the positive 1, sees the mirror, sees 2. He sees another 1. It doesn't see the negative. It sees another 1 and becomes 2. It's aware that it's 2. And that is the fractal pinch, moment of awareness, that creates this mechanistic system as described by Osborne Reynolds. So Mr. Love traces the history of this to Euler and then brings it up to date with the various fluid dynamics guys. 1892. So we've got Maxwell, we've got Thomson and Tate, we've got all the heavy hitters. Boltzmann, that's sort of the name I was trying to think of. All the big hitters coming through into this propagation of light, 1892. Right? And it's a brilliant thing. Now, I've taken that, and I've also found some other essays people have written about it. You can interject Leonardo da Vinci, the Madrid Codex I found, drops straight in, so I've added that. So I've taken Love on my ACE consultancy website. I've taken Love, just the snippets from Wikipedia, and I've updated it with what I know, and then put other information in there that I found, okay, from various sources. So 1903 now. So this is after Love, but there is an update around this time as well. 1903, Osborne Reynolds places his submechanics in the universe. That's the answer. Okay, that brings together Love's work, seals it into a mechanistic system that must exist. It's the only one that answers all the questions. And so how does that mechanism exist is the next question. 1906, Dr. Victor Levy under Alexander von Brill does his dissertation, rigid body fixed points, rigid body mechanics, basically. Yeah, that's what I've called it. I'm assuming that's what he called it. It's about the fixed points and vector potential, that velocity changes before position, vector potential. And that is the rigid body that creates the snowflakes of the ether. So 1903, Osborne Reynolds, mechanistic system. 1906, Victor Levy, vector potential, describing the how of the what. So Reynolds what, Levy's how. 1915, door is closed, lie is placed into engineering in the 1923 document. Right, so 1915, the engineering magazine article, and Dr. Levy's second dissertation in engineering is the gatekeeper that is forced in and holding it into German physics. German physics is then carried through to the 30s, where the plan to enact all the Jewish physicists to be seeded around the planet, and they close the door. And so that they can build the atomic weapons that they're going to use to control us, to control time with the nuclear explosions. The nuclear explosions control time. And so they need to stop, and we need to grab hold of them, take control. That's what it's all about, classified nuclear physics. And so that once they've closed the door in Germany, bangs, everything's smashed up. Look at Paul Bromberg. Big gosh, I love you. Takes you to the Manhattan Project, right? 1942, first edition of the PCA tables come out. The statics for the containers are placed there. The coefficient tables in 1942 issue, first edition, are just placed there. Doesn't even talk about the theory, it just says here they are. And in the war, you're going to accept that. They are the statics from Dr. Ing W. Levy that are mentioned by the editor Emberger in his introduction to the 1923 edition of the Eisen and Betten magazine. The statics for the containers from W. Levy. They're just placed there. But now you just go back to the 1906 dissertation, rebuild the tables in the 1993 document, the third edition, rebuild them using Levy's 1906, and you can see that the dynamic loads are replaced, that those tables are doctored, that there are positive loads where there should be negative, and it proves that negative mass is the moment of the matter. Matter exists from a moment of negative mass. That's the mass energy equivalence. Okay, it's vacuum energy creating matter, squeezing together in a unique way, and that squeezing together creates greater energy, a viscous force of warm body of life with awareness. Remember where we began. The one is aware of the one. So something exists, and that exists is temperature and sound. It's friction. So a moment of friction, the first thing that happens when there's friction, a braking force, is there is a sound. And that sound has a temperature pulse greater, an entropy, as measured in the cosmic microwave background. It's our own pulse. You fucking morons. Yeah, happy? So there's the documents. Referencing. Love, 1892. Mathematical Treatise, Theories of Elasticity. Osborne Reynolds, 1903. Submechanics of the Universe. Dr. Victor Levy, 1906. Rigid Body Mechanics, Fixed Points. 1915. Dr. Victor Levy again, closing the door, but showing us illustrations of the concept of his vector potential in AB5 and AB14. 1942 edition of the PCA, first edition of referencing circular concrete tanks without pre-stressing, the introduction of the statics, the coefficient tables, going back to 1923, Eisen and Betten, where Emberger introduces Dr. Ing W. Levy's thanks for the statics for the containers. There they are. Linking back to the 1906. Okay? So there's the loop. So proving Osborne Reynolds is right. Proving that science already knows the answer, but we've got to choose to believe that we have actually worked it out how it works. Yeah, it's that simple. We've already got the information. You've just got no history. Understand your history. And it's one of glory. Because Christ runs this fucking planet, you morons. Yeah? And if you believe any different, then you're a fool. Because this is the closure of the Bible. Right? So Revelations 13:18, closing off. The number of a man. 666. Number of the beast is the number of man. Right? It's a Reynolds number. It's already existing in engineering. Osborne Reynolds is a genius. Yeah, and that's my name too, so I'm just reenacting that name, saying I'm also taking a footnote in the Bible as the man who raises up the Reynolds number as the solution, because it's the blood viscosity through the myocardial fold of the human heart. That the breath that we breathe, whether you invert the snowflake, the final transform, meets the feedback loop of the twist of the universe in the heart, in our hearts, meets the blood plasma, and the link is between thoughts. Your blood plasma is experienced in the moment of the breath. And you unite them through just the simple practice of giving your breath over the top, taking a pause and giving it to God and giving thanks to your God that he gave you this life, that you were the lucky people who were alive at this time in life to experience the rapture. It begins. But you have to be ready to die, except that might be a future for you, but do it with a happy heart, because trust me, life is eternal. I've just proved it to you. Now, you love me yet? You happy with the work I've done? I just want to go home. I just want to retire. Please don't make me live this reality anymore. Yeah, I want to live the real reality, that Christ is King. Welcome home. Here's the future. Let's begin.